Hey everyone, today this is a response video to Thrash Maniac 99. I made this video of 10 underrated albums by legendary bands, so I decided to make my own video of this and to respond to that. So here's my 10 underrated albums by legendary bands. So the first one I have here is Slayer Divine Intervention. Came out in '94, I think, and this album doesn't get enough praise. I think this is one of the last maybe true thrash metal albums back in that era. I think it's one of the greatest thrash albums in the '90s. To be honest, but I do really love this album. I think it's maybe the third album I got from Slayer. This is also the first album with Paul Bolstaff, and he's my favorite drummer. But yeah, I think this album is just really underrated. Like Killing Field, Ditto Head is just killer. 213 is just, I think that's an awesome song. And yeah, so definitely I think that's an underrated album. Second album that I got listed here is Anthrax Stuff 442. This is with John Bush on vocals, and to me he's the MVP of that era. Like every song that he did for Anthrax, he's the man on it. If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have listened to Anthrax, to be honest. Or known them, because Son of White Noise and Psalm 442 were the first albums that I gotten from Testament, and they really hold some value to me, especially my teenage years. So definitely Psalm 442. I think it's a killer rock groove album. Yeah, killer album, I think. Anyways, I got my third one is Testament Demonic, and a lot of people pick this album as their last, like Testament's worst album. They went death metal on this album. This is the first Testament album that I ever got. It was the first time a friend of mine, he showed me this album back in '96, '97, and I mean, I wasn't too into death metal back then. I think I was just getting into death, and I was really into that, and At the Gates, and a friend of mine had this one. He showed me this album, and he showed me not Cryptopsy, sorry, Cannibal Corpse. And when he showed me this album, there was some groove. It was really easy to get into, and they had the deep guttural vocals by Chuck Billy. And I mean, this album helped me get into death metal, and that reason I love it. So there's death metal and there's groove on this album. I don't know, I think it's great. I love it. It just brings me back. Next album I have listed here is Metallica's Hardwired to Self-Destruct. Yeah, this album holds. I just love this album because at that time when this album came out, I was like in the middle of family life, marriage, and getting my career going and stuff like that. And then when this album came out, I went to go buy it. I wasn't listening to metal as much. I think that's the biggest thing. And then listening to this album kind of brought me back to when I was a kid and stuff, and listening to the first six songs are amazing. I think the second part of the album yeah, there's some slower parts or some groove parts, but I don't know. I really do like this album. I love it. I think people just put it down. I think it's better than Magnetic. But it brought me back into metal and seeking out metal music a lot more. So that, yeah, it holds like a value to me in that way. So yeah, the fifth album I have listed here is Sepultura Against. A lot of people hate this album. I don't know. I think it's really good. This is Derek Green's first album with the band after the whole divorce with Max Calavera and the guys from Sepultura. Personally, I think they should have just changed the name and just had their own brand, but it is what it is. Like, it's just whatever. But I think this is one of the best albums with Derek Green. I think it was different from Roots. I don't know. I really do like this album. It did stay in my rotation back in the day. I still listen to it today. Boycott's still one of my favorite songs from this album, and I really like it. So yeah, the next album I have here is Cryptopsy, Whisper Supremacy. This is my favorite death metal album. A lot of people don't like that they changed vocalists, that Lord Worm. I don't know the story, but he was not in the band anymore. They got Mike DeSavio on vocals here, and he brought more of an aggressive, hardcore death metal approach, a lot more throw, a lot more punch to the vocals, and I really love that. But some of the old school fans criticized it, that there wasn't Lord Worm, which is more deep, old school guttural vocals. But yeah, I think he just brought more of aggression, more of a stink face to, I don't know, some toughness. He just added some toughness to their sound. So to me, this is the best death metal album. It's my favorite. I love it. Anyways, the next one I got Exodus, Shovelhead Kill Machine. This is Paul Bostaph on drums, and he got what's his name, Robert Dukes there on vocals, and I think this is Exodus's best album. It just packs a punch. It's just thrash metal glory on this album. I think it's their best album, like, by far. Anyways, let's go to the next one. I got Megadeth. The System Has Failed. I think this is I don't hear this album enough, because I think this is Megadeth's comeback album. There's so many killer songs on here. I think they brought the songwriting is really good. They brought some thrash back, but tracks like Kick the Chair. I think this is what Megadeth's comeback album was. Because the '90s there, like maybe Euthanasia was maybe their last really good album. Cryptic Writing has some killer tracks on it. Risk was a risk. What's that? The World Needs a Hero. Garbage. And then this album came out, and it really brought the thrash back. I really like this album. I think it doesn't get mentioned enough. And then another killer album is from Creator, Violent Revolution. I think this is for sure their comeback album from the '90s, and I think it doesn't get mentioned enough either. But this is they just packed a punch on this album. I really like it. I think it should be up there. I think this should be one of their top 5 albums. I think it doesn't get mentioned. It's always in the middle somewhere, but I think it should be on top. It's a really good album. I love it. And then we have yeah, the last one I have here is Pantera, The Great Southern Trendkill. To me, this is my favorite Pantera album. It's darker, it's heavier. There's different vibes on this album, and I think it doesn't get mentioned enough. You know, because everybody likes the Vulgar Display of Power, and every time they mention Pantera, like that's the album, or Cowboys from Hell, or even Far Beyond Driven. But I don't know. Maybe it's the time when this album came out, like in '96. So it's like my prime listening and what I was really getting into albums when I was 18, 19 years old. So maybe it's just the time when this album came out. But it's my favorite Pantera album. So yeah, so that's my top 10 underrated albums from legendary bands. Please respond to this video. I think it's a pretty cool response video to do. And remember, everyone, metal never dies. Cheers.